For the next half an an hour or so, we'll be up here, 27 metres above our starting point on the Forth and Clyde Canal. We're now moving at 4 miles an hour over the reinforced concrete aqueduct. There's just over 100 metres between here and the tunnel, dead ahead of us. We'll go right through that and turn around before heading back and taking a look at the view that's right behind you now. You might have noticed that there are 2 tourist boats in service at the Falkirk Wheel, each with slightly strange names. Archimedes and Antonine. Did you see which one you are on today when you got on? Those special names were chosen for a reason. They're both important parts of the wheel's identity. First, Archimedes. He was a scholar and mathematician in ancient Greece who discovered something that's very important for the operation of the wheel.
Any floating object displaces its own weight of fluid.
Okay, that might need a bit of explanation. Archimedes' principle says that when an object is placed in water, for example the boat you are sitting in now, it displaces its exact own weight in water. The amount of water that moves out of the way to make room for us is equal in weight to the boat itself. That might sound quite simple, but it's actually really important for the smooth operation of the Falkirk Wheel. Each gondola, that's the big tub of water we just travelled up in, holds 250 tonnes of water. When our boat sailed in, we pushed about 60 tonnes of water. That is the weight of the boat and its fuel and all the people in it, out meaning that the gondola then had 190 tonnes of water and 60 tonnes of boat in it. So the contents of the gondola still weigh 250 tonnes. The clever part is that the other gondola will also weigh exactly 250 tonnes as well. We are evenly balanced with them, and that means that it only takes a tiny bit of energy to get us moving around the central core of the wheel. We're balancing each other out. So while you might think it would take a lot of energy to lift 250 tonnes of steel, water, boat and even you up the 27 metres we just came, it actually took just a small push. About the same amount of energy as boiling 8 electric kettles. That's enough for a cup of tea, each for everyone on the boat. We haven't got time for a cuppa now, but you can get one down at the visitor centre afterwards while you watch the wheel going round again. Well, moving up into the woods. You can walk along these later if you like. Side of the boat as we enter the tunnel, you'll see a sign reading Rough Castle Tunnel. What castle? You cannot see a castle near here. That's because we're about to travel underneath it. Well, almost. There's a Roman castle fort on the hill really quite close by. It was placed there around the year 143 AD as part of a network of military bases built by the Romans to defend the area. These forts were linked by a wall, running right the way across the width of Scotland. For a lot of its distance, this system of forts and walls follows the rough route of the Forth and Clyde Canal, linking the east and west sides of the country. Only the canals were designed to make transport and communication across the country easier. The castle forts were built by the military to control people and keep them out of the northern border of what was then the Roman Empire. Now you'll almost certainly be aware of another Roman emperor, best known for his wall in northern England. The wall above you now wasn't built by Hadrian though. It was constructed during the reign of Emperor Antoninus Pius. It's known as the Antonine Wall, and that's the name of our other boat, Antonine. Skip forward 1600 years, and this landscape, instead of being a conflict zone, was one of rapid industrial expansion. That's the one we're sailing on now. In 1822, then Glasgow and Edinburgh were linked by waterways. This all meant that unprecedented amounts of trade were now possible, not only between Glasgow and Edinburgh, but also with the rest of Northern Europe and the world. In the 1830s, 200,000 people each year travelled between the two cities. One operator offered
The express service in just 7 hours on swift passenger boats.
There was, apparently, a sign projecting from the front of the boat that would cut through the tow ropes of any slow-moving vessels that refused to give way. Getting between the two canals still required the use of a lock system though. A few kilometres to the east of here, there was a flight of 11 canal locks with a fall of just over 3 metres each. Each had to fill with water in turn to raise traffic up to the Union Canal so it could travel on to Edinburgh. For a time, this was the golden age of the canal, and waterways were almost the motorways of the day. But with the rise of the railways, the decline of the canal, compared to days gone by, it means there's no horseways left by the side of the canal towpath anymore. And we can now travel faster and in almost all weathers too. 7 metres up, making the total height above our starting point 35 metres. This then runs as far as Edinburgh, which, if you were to sail there today, would take about 9 or 10 hours. But most people on a pleasure cruise do it over a couple of days. In fact, these locks were installed as part of the renovations to the canal system and the installation of the Falkirk Wheel. The original Union Canal ended some 2 kilometres further on from here, where the flight of 11 locks carried canal traffic up and down between here and the Forth and Clyde Canal below. And from that level, 2 locks up from here, the Union Canal stretches all the way to Edinburgh without a single lock. It's a feat of engineering and construction laid out by the canal's designer Hugh Baird in the 1820s. Despite the canal from Falkirk to Edinburgh being over 50 kilometres for enjoying our historic waterways. There are 22 million visits a year to our canals, with people enjoying the towpaths, walkers, joggers and cyclists alike. On the water, people enjoy canoeing and kayaking, and canal boat holidays are increasingly popular.
Welcome on board. Just board in.
It can be great fun to charter a boat and explore the canal. Navigating up and down the locks is a little tricky at first, though you'll soon get the hang of it. But a canal boat holiday can also be very relaxing. The gentle pace of the boats means you can switch off from the pressures of modern life and slow right down, rather than sitting there abandoned. The Millennium Link project saw these canals repaired and reopened, and at £84 million was Britain's most ambitious canal restoration project ever. In just 3 years, waterways were dredged, including removing 300,000 tonnes of silt, locks were replaced, 9 new locks built, and towpaths restored. There were also 35 new bridges and 5 kilometres of new canal. And it's been a huge success. Canal side investment has gone through the roof. Over £400 million in the first decade alone, including 2,000 new waterside homes and 100,000 square metres of retail and commercial development, pressed into 45,000 boat holes. And each one was tightened by hand. The 2 gondolas between them hold 1 million litres of water and can lift the weight of 100 elephants. And it does all that in just 5 minutes, using the power of a few electric kettles. Amazing, isn't it? It's impressive to think that the Falkirk Wheel wasn't actually built as a tourist attraction. There was no visitor centre here originally, and boat trips like these didn't take place. But people came to visit the wheel out of their own curiosity. They came from all over the world to wonder at this architectural and engineering gem. So we started running boat trips, and the Falkirk Wheel has gone from strength to strength. And now you visited too and ridden this unique part of the Scottish landscape.
We passed the narrowboat up there. Just beyond the narrowboat there are some grills, so the water comes down and through the bank and into this lower basin, and then from this it goes through the lock. There is some other sort of, it's not a problem because it's sea to sea anyway, so it's a constant sort of filling, you know. But luckily, because the locks aren't used as much, we don't waste so much water now. And Scotland, to be clear, apart from the first few weeks, we generally do get a lot of rain, so they don't run dry, believe it. That's it, you know.
Did you like which bit did you like there? Which bit did you like there? No, she like going into